Hey everyone, it's Coach LB. If you're just joining me for the first time, we are working on our colony of Olympus, or actually Neo Olympus. The first city died, and we are recreating it. So we are going through a little bit of a recap to get to the point where this is what our colony looks like now, and we're going back through and seeing how we got there. So, buckle up, strap in, and we're gonna get started on how we got to the colony to look this way before we move on to our next part. So, I decided, I was like, oh, well, I'll just make this whole nice scaffolding to get down there and get the wood I needed to reclaim. And then I just remembered I could put it next to the edge and they would pick it up from the edge. So I did that by basically taking levees and making it so the wood would be closest to the edge. Then I just started filling in more land for them to put in. But I decided to change it up a little bit. So because there is no direct water to these places that I'm going, I decided to make a small canal from one forester to the area the next forester was going to be in, and another pond, irrigation pond. And I just figured I might as well build that in. Of course, I am going to have that connected to the other irrigation pond, but that is for a later time when I can safely blow up that pathway and not have any kind of recurring casualties from it. And also I won't lose the water. So here I needed to build some more factories, mostly woodworking. So I needed to put the wood. So I needed to put my wood workshops over here, and I was trying to figure out the best way to do it because I wanted a storage area also. The entire reason I decided to do all of this expansion work is because I want this district, which is going to be run completely by bots, to be completely self-sufficient. And therefore, in order to do that, I need the factories for anything that needs to be produced by the bot workers to send to anywhere else to be built. All of that land I was just extending is essentially just going to be for trees, for wood. So I will have enough wood to be able to continually produce planks and gears as needed, and the power of everything is going to be coming from our power plant here. I want this district to be completely self-sufficient, and on the chance that it gets full, it exports other things that may be needed, such as wood, to the other districts. I'm kind of looking at there being possibly 4 districts when I'm done with this map, which I'd like to finish soon because I really want to get started playing on the experimental update 7 and messing around with the tubeways and the zip lines, and the fact that you can put terrain blocks on top of platforms and everything now gives me so many more options, and I can hide underground waterways even better. Like irrigation, it changes the irrigation game now. So I can't wait to play around with some of that. And part of me is kind of tempted to wait until the update is actually live, but I'm not sure yet. So, as this land was growing in, I was planting more trees because yep, we needed more trees. And I also started to look at my power plant over here and how I'm going to maneuver things around it. So basically, this area right here is originally where I was going to put my new number crunchers. This was going to be my science area. So I had to work in everything, and of course, by taking that one piece out, I lost the use of my excavators for about a couple hours. But with number crunchers running over here, that's unlimited science. So now that our bad water diversion system is done, all I have to do is clean up all these scaffoldings that we use to actually make sure that we were able to complete it. And as soon as we get all that cleaned up, we can start working on our next expansion for our town. As you can see, I'm measuring out to make sure that I'm still in the right space and I'm still lined up. So while I was waiting on them to gather the resources, I was also checking my checking to make sure that my bad water diversion system, all of the sluices were set properly to be able to divert bad water, and once the bad water is fully drained out of it, be able to let clean water back into this reservoir basin. And as you can see, I'm actually down at the depth, making sure that the bad water is flowing out correctly. I actually took the sluices and changed the percentage that they would close at, because it kind of gives it a little bit of a pumping action if it opens and closes. I don't know why. It's just maybe with the new water physics it does, but it seems like it helps to drain it a little bit faster. So just by messing with and changing the percentages of where they open and close for the bad water contamination, it just helped a lot to clear it out. As you can see, the one side got completely cleared and it started opening. Even though it was still flowing out, the contamination level wasn't enough for it to close, but it also started releasing the lower contaminated, the not so contaminated water that was coming straight out of the water sources that were right next to it. And now that I understand flow rates, I should have had 3 sluices or 1 sluice for every water source. So now that we are into our drought, and I know my water is working, my bad water diversion system is working properly, it's time to get started on the next part. So what I'm creating here is this whole city. It's going to have its own storage in the middle of this. And I'm making the storage, and the storage is going to be partially submerged because, you know, we're out in the water. So keeping it at the same height, I can actually submerge part of it, and then it'll be perfectly fine. So that's what I'm going for. I'm creating my submerged platform, and we are going to build our structures and continue on to build our storage area. And in this storage area, we are going to hold food and other goods that are beneficial to keep right at our colony. So they won't have, the haulers will bring the food there, and then they won't have to go that far to eat. That was the whole purpose. Keeping food within the closest distance to the colony was my plan to begin with. And by putting this in now, when I go to mirror my living arrangement on the other side, it gives me an exact measurement to go and put in all of my living situations on the other side. So basically we needed an 11 by 11 square so we could make our efficient storage system. So we'd have 3 warehouses on each side and to store all our goods. And as you see, I'm starting with 3 warehouses for goods, which are 2. The cool thing is, you know, all we need is platforms to help for when we get to the large warehouses that we're going to put up top. That's going to be the 5th level of the storage. So it's going to be 4 level of medium storages, and then a 5th level of large storage. The large storage is pretty much going to be for food, and the medium storage are going to be for ingredients mostly. So we've got enough for them to start building, and they'll build it as they see fit. So back over here, checking my power, and I'm realizing that they've built this and they're not getting power. And like a dum-dum, I put in the exact wrong connector. Oh, so, yep. What a maroon. So as soon as they get that new connector built, the proper one, I'll have power to my wood workshops and my smelters, which I got more smelters because we're using a lot more iron. And I am working on the stairway to get to the top of the power plant because I want to have access to it just in case I just need to be up there for something. That might be a little bit of foreshadowing. So, since beavers don't actually need to visit their workplaces when it comes to builders' huts and haulers, I wanted to take and put builders' huts and hauling posts over in the city because I thought it might make a good addition to it, and I don't have to worry about having I don't have and that way I don't have to worry about them taking up space on the fertile land, because then I can use the fertile land to actually plant crops. So we just need a way up there, which of course all I gotta do is put in some more of the metal platforms, and we create new walkways so we can get in there. And of course, symmetry is everything, so They need to be exactly the same on both sides. And as we go along, I'm going to throw more decorations in the places with the gaps. But I also remember that you raise up the well-being for having roofs. So I needed to fill in some roofs to get some more well-being. So creating platforms up top to make a little roofed walkway for them when they go up to get extract for the breeding pods or put extract in. A lot of this is just little aesthetic choices to try and maximize my well-being. So while we were in the drought, as you can see, a lot of that water was contaminated, or had contamination still in it. I decided that because of the way sluices work, I really wanted to have the water come up to a higher point. So I needed to put more sluices in. And then I'll just set them all to close at the level of the height of the sluice. So that way, once the water level gets higher than the bottom one, it'll close. And then the water level gets higher than the top one, it'll close. Because I realized it'll only go to the water level of the highest sluice. And since the highest sluice was at the bottom, it wasn't very high, but I wanted the water to come all the way up. So of course, that meant I needed to make sure that I was able to retain all that water all the way around. So I wanted to do this while while it's still a drought, because as soon as the next wet cycle comes, I would really like to start refilling that entire basin, because that's where I'm getting a lot of my clean water from. And having it at the highest water level I can possibly have it will make sure that there's more water for these long droughts. I then decided, since I was putting more land in, I probably needed to put in some more farmland at some point. And then upon looking at the size of this basin, I realized I really don't need that whole thing to be water, because it is huge, and it will be nothing but a secondary one at that to get water from if I have it. So it's not necessarily that I need to have water in there. So I decided we'll just extend all of this tree planting out. And at first I decided, okay, let's keep this circular look going. So as you can see, I'm filling it in, and this is going to be more area for them to just place and as you can see, this is going to be more area for them just to place trees. That's all it's going to be. And more trees means another set of irrigation ditches, ponds, more irrigation, because water makes trees grow. And thinking about it now, I want to change some of my pathways around, so I'm looking at things like the pathways, and I'm going to have to move certain things. Now that we finally got the other irrigation ditch, I just have to be careful to make sure I don't destroy any bots. Yes, it's bots and not beavers in there, but still, I don't want to destroy any bots if I don't have to. And of course, get those new trees in. Once the path is reconnected, and I'll have some bots working at that forester. So it was about at this point where I realized my power output wasn't as high as I wanted it to be. And it was about at this time when I figured, hey, maybe when I get some time, I need to start manipulating the flow to see if I can get the power to increase. And I also needed to check, since we were in our wet season, to make sure that all of my containment for the increase of depth of this pond was finished. And it was. Hooray. And then I remembered I was extending the forest area within the main district as well. But as I came over and checking on it, hey, I'm getting my storage finished and completed, even if it's still flooded. So over here, I wanted to increase the priority so I could start getting the other tanks on the other side built and have my mirror. But I needed those warehouses. I needed the platforms to be finished. And now that they had finished the storage area platforms, I could divert my metal to that project. And I was looking for new decorations to go in, and I decided maybe it's time to put a clock in. But where was I going to put it? I needed to find a place. And then I was like, oh, I had put these platforms here for them to build a new decoration, and all they need to do is build it. But of course, I still wanted more. So putting some more platforms in, deleting platforms, putting platforms back in, and putting bells. You know, it's that whole process of, I want this to go here. No, I don't. Yes, I do. I think that looks good there. No, maybe not. Well, yep, we're sticking with it. And of course, I have lots of warnings going off because things are still don't have pathways or still flooded, so they can't be used. And while I wanted the pathways in, I wasn't worried about putting the stairs to the lower platforms yet because they were still flooded. So it wasn't as huge of a priority, but the ones that could be utilized, I wanted to make sure that those were able to start being built and start being filled up. So going through and putting goods in there. And it's a bad tide. I forgot to close the floodgates some to keep the water in, but also I'm just double checking to make sure our bad water diversion system is working properly, because the last thing I wanted was bad water mixing with my good water that was really good water. And these new storages I'm making, these small ones, I'm going to mirror the other side with these different, with these bot parts, because I want to have a second bot creation facility over on this side, just like I do on the other. But the large tanks will allow me to have large tanks for the liquids that I'm going to need. And since our bots are doing a lot of the heavy lifting and we're mitigating bad water, we may not need these, we definitely don't need all of those decontamination pods. Hopefully we won't ever need decontamination pods again. But accidents happen. So that's where we're going to end this episode. I really want to thank you for spending the time with me on this journey of building this colony that is going to be called Neo Olympus. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, you may see another one of my videos pop up. It was a long couple weeks that I was gone, but I'm glad to be back. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Peace.